Good morning, good morning. I have makeup on. I'm wearing some fun makeup, hopefully it's fun. I decided to play with some Cleona eyeshadows. So I've got two layered on the top. I put it originally, I feel like whenever I reach for my Cleona multi-chromes, which are beautiful, I was like, that's such a beautiful color. And then I realized it's so dark that I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do this. So I have to layer something light over the top. So that's what I did the top one. And then the bottom lash line, I've got like a lighter purple. And I pulled out this. I've never used it. It's by Juvia's Place. And it is their sort of, it's a retractable pencil. I'm just going to take the lid off and show you. And it is this beautiful blue and it just glides onto the waterline so nicely. I love the purple packaging, really easy to spot. Yeah, I usually, look, sometimes you can get some nice creamy eyeliners. Oh my golly gosh, I just dropped it. Hang on. It's okay, it survived. But yeah, sometimes you can get some really nice creamy eyeliners, but they usually cost a lot if you want like crazy colors. Otherwise, they can be like dry and scratchy, but this just like such a good color. Such a good color. So Juvia's Place, it is the Nubian eyeliner in the shade Royal. I looked up, they're still available. I think they're $12 each and I think they're beautiful. Anyway, I'm doing a base test and I'm doing Battle of the CoverGirl Outlast 3-in-1 foundations. So this one with the blue cap is the old one. It's the OG one. I used to use, I think this is like my 5th bottle. I used them heaps and heaps and heaps like 10 years ago, like a long time ago, if not longer. I loved them. And I think when it was being discontinued, I bought one and I haven't opened it until today. So yes, is it very old? Yes, but it's not, it's unopened. So technically it's still good, sort of. So I've got that on this side and it looks nice. It applied easily. I put it over my Dermalogica Hydro Blur primer. Oh, shit, my brain. Anyway, I like it. It's a bit of a peachy tone, a little bit dark for me. Look at my chest, but we're just coming out of winter. So the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1, and then on the other side, I've got the CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear, and this came out, I think, about 2 years ago. So they reformulated, they came out with this. I think the packaging looks worse, to be honest. This shade is Buff Beige. It's a little bit more neutral, so a little bit less peachy, but they both apply really nicely. And I didn't put concealer on. I'm going to see how they wear today. I like the base. I set it with my Sigma powder in Vanilla Bean. Everything's looking nice. Everything's feeling nice. But I also thought that on Thursday and then my makeup went shit. So let's see if these come through with the goods. If they do, I'm going to be happy because cheap and cheerful. And I've come to the realization that I think my skin has just changed. I think after I had a baby, after my second baby, I think my skin has just changed and I can't do anything about it. No matter what skincare, no matter what primers, no matter what I do, my skin has changed and I sort of want to do a big sort of like clean out of my base products and do a big sort of declutter. So in this series, I'm just going to do like testing every base product, and if it doesn't work, it's going, because there's no point me like trying to make something work that no longer works. It's sort of like when you hold on to clothes. I also need to do a wardrobe declutter. You hold on to clothes because I'm like, I'm going to be that size again down the track. And yeah, you might, but do you want clothes from 10 years ago when you have a new sort of, you know, style and body? And you probably don't. So I feel like I just have to let things go. Anyway, I'll be back with a comparison and see if these CoverGirl Outlast foundations are going to stay. I'm making the decision at the end of the day because I just don't want to hold on to crap anymore. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Maybe cheap and cheerful is the winner. So this is a 7-hour check-in and I haven't like done too much today besides like declutter my wardrobe, declutter my makeup collection and tidy up the house. And so I've been doing stuff, but this is looking really good. So I've got the two CoverGirl Outlast foundations. This is the original, it's a Stay Fabulous 3-in-1, and this is the new reformulated it's like 2 years old now. Outlast, what was it called? Extreme Wear 3-in-1 foundation. So yeah, this blue lid one has been discontinued and replaced with the red lid one. So the blue lid one I have on this side, it looks shinier, which I like it gives you a bit of a glow, but it's not breaking down, it's not smearing off, it's not oily, it's just a different finish. The newer red lid one is looking a little bit more matte, so that versus that, but they're both wearing really nicely. Like there's little patches where got baby bubbles in the bath. Yeah, but they're both looking really good. So I was actually going to be like, I want to take this off and get in my PJs and have an early movie night with my kids, but I might wear this a little bit longer. I am quite surprised that these are wearing so well. Like, they previously worn well on me, but as my skin currently is, things that used to wear well on me don't anymore. But these do. I'm happy. Oh, I was going to say one thing I've noticed. Colour's really wrong. If you see, like, this is a huge, like, makeup faux pas. That's where I took the makeup, and that's where my neck colour is, and that's where my ear colour is. So this one's definitely too dark. I don't know if it's oxidised, but it's definitely too dark. This one is also too dark, but not as bad. So if they wear well, like, I don't care. I'll just put a bit of, like, foundation lightening stuff in them, and it should be all good. But I like this one more, the original, but they're both wearing well. All right, it's been about 10 hours and I'm ready to go to bed, or not bed, but take my makeup off. These have worn so well. So again, the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 is a little bit shinier and is wearing down slightly, but not, like, it still looks really good. The newer formulated one looks a little bit more matte, but it looks a little bit more smoother. It looks a little bit more flawless. This one definitely oxidizes. I was having a look back through the videos, and when I first put it on, it looked a lot more seamless with my skin, and it sort of got a bit darker over time. So I'm just going to have to lighten them a bit with a mixing product, but I really like them. I think these are wearing really well. Go CoverGirl, go you good thing. Okay, I'm doing a base test today, and I am comparing my more recent Korean sort of BB cream type products. I talked about this a little while ago. I ordered the Misha Perfect Cover BB cream in the shade 21. It is a little bit too grey for me, but look, it's good as a mixer, and a lot of people were recommending it. And with my current skin, which is sort of dehydrated and can get a little bit dry despite being oily, I wanted to try it again. So I'm wearing that on this side of my face. And then when I was talking about that on TikTok and YouTube, I had a few recommendations for the Purito one. Apparently this is a good dupe, or some people are saying it's even better. Now I've got the shade 21 in this as well. I'll show them to you because they are the same sort of grey. But I have the Purito on this side with a little bit of concealer just under my eyes. I am going to finish my makeup and show you how it looks finished. My hair is like stuck to my head because they're so like dewy. But I have to say the Purito one, just off the bat, it feels a lot more sort of hydrating and rich. This is still shiny, but it feels a little bit thinner. So I actually like, this one sits on, like, it builds a bit better. So when I have like little bits of redness that I want to cover, I feel like the Purito one sort of just layers a little bit more evenly. So I've used these before, but I haven't really thought them through. I feel like the Purito one, just on application, I like it more. And if you like a really dewy, like juicy finish, I feel like it's a little bit dewier than this one, despite them, like, look at the forehead here versus okay, they're both shiny, but this is just like a little bit more. And these are the shade differences. So they're both 21. The top one is Misha and the bottom one is Purito. They both have that grey sort of tinge to them, but you can see that the Purito one is just a little bit deeper in colour. It actually suits me a lot more than the Misha one, but that's the swatch comparison. Another quick comparison is that this is 50 mils and this is 30 mils, but I got this one, I think it was on sale, but I got it for $9.99 in Australian dollars. So it is very affordable if you do like it, and I think it comes in more shades, whereas I think I got this one, it was closer to like 20. So cost per mil, of course, it depends on if you pay full price, where you buy it, if you buy it on sale, but this was pretty affordable, way cheaper than anything else you can get in Australia. Like I did buy this online. I bought them both online, but like CoverGirl on sale, you can't get a foundation for like under $10. Like it is very, very unusual to get a good BB cream or base under $10 in Australia. So that was a good one. All right, makeup is done, and I've just set it all with the Halo Glow setting powder from e.l.f. I really like this setting powder. Not only does it set your base so it doesn't feel like tacky, like I can touch it, it's not smearing around my face, but it has a little bit of luminosity in it so it doesn't look flat and sort of dry. I have to say, like, both of these feel set. So this shine is probably a combination of the BB cream but also the powder. I have to say, I've got no highlighter on, just matte blush. I like this side a lot better. I just think it looks a lot more even, and it's just a bit more of a thicker formula and a bit like a richer formula, and it just gives a lot more of a perfected look. So this looks a lot more patchy, the Misha side, whereas this looks a little bit nicer. So I'm going to keep wearing this and let you know how it goes. All right, over 10 hours wear with the BB creams. So this was the Purito side, and this was the Misha side. You can see that it's mainly worn down. We've had it's been a warm day. We've been out and about. We've cleaned the car. We've done a whole bunch of stuff. So, and it's been over 10 hours. So look, it's not looking dry and like flaky or patchy or anything. It just has worn down fairly naturally, both sides. There were sort of sunglass marks. There's not, I wouldn't say either of them are worn well because it's barely on my skin. What you're seeing is mainly concealer. But I do think that I just like the Purito one a little bit more because it just feels a little bit more luxe on the skin. It looks a little bit more even throughout the day. I wish I checked in a bit earlier so you could sort of see as it sort of fades down, but they both sort of fade off. So it's a little bit still on. It's not looking horrible, but obviously my base isn't looking great. That's a BB cream. I am trying to narrow down my collection, like and test things, and if I don't like them, get rid of them. I wouldn't probably, look, I don't know if I'd repurchase these. For short-term wear, they're fine. I think the Misha for me is probably better as like a colour mixer to neutralise things that are a little bit too warm, because it brings down that tone, which is really great. I also think they're really nice at shearing out a foundation that's a little bit too much coverage. So I think they're nicer for me as mixers. So I'm going to keep them both. But for me, they're sort of like put them on and look okay for like 4 hours and then expect it all to wear away. Base test, day number 18. Today I am comparing two of my sort of more medium coverage, I guess more like luminous looking foundations. Like one of them is supposed to be luminous and one is a serum foundation, but they're both sort of lighter weight in coverage and also supposed to be quite like not matte and drying and like budge proof. They're supposed to just look like, I guess, normal skin. So the two that I have, I've got the LYS. This is the Triple Fix Serum Foundation. I really like this one. It's got, the shade really suits me. It's LP4, so I think it's light pink 4. And I've got that on this side today. And then on the other side, I have my Flower Beauty Light Illusion All Day Wear Ivory L2. So despite the LYS being a little bit peachier and darker and the Flower Beauty one being a little bit more, I'd say, I don't know, neutral and light, you can't tell that I'm wearing different foundations. I have powdered it. So underneath, I'm using my Dermalogica Hydra Blur Primer. Around my eyes, I'm using my Kat Von D Concealer that I'm trying to pan, and I'm using my Nakia Joy Cosmetics Velvet Finishing Powder to set it all. And they're both looking very nice. So they were looking a little bit glowier, obviously, before I set it. The main difference I've noticed is the Flower Beauty one had a little bit more coverage, quite smooth. I think that's also the primer helping because it's a bit of a blurring primer. But you can see there's a little bit of like, I don't know, what's that? Skin texture coming through on this side. So this one's a little bit thinner in coverage. I like them both. I'm just curious to see which one wears better because they both feel really nice. This sort of, it feels lightweight. Besides the powder, I can sort of feel that I'm wearing powder. It doesn't really feel like I'm wearing foundation. I like the bit of luminosity that particularly the Flower Beauty one gives. I think overall the look, I prefer the Flower Beauty side. But this one is just a little bit more, I think on low makeup days, the LYS one would work better, but I'm just curious to see how they compare throughout the day. So I'll check in with updates. All right, just to check in, I should have checked in way earlier, but that's life. Comparing the two sort of lighter weight foundations, so the LYS to the Flower Beauty, this is 11 hours, so most of it's worn off by now. But I can tell you that when I did look throughout the day, there wasn't much of a difference. But I have to say, I feel like the Flower Beauty one, like you can't really see too much, but there's a little bit more coverage left on this side than, look, it's minute, but I feel like it's wearing slightly better. That's just my impression. I think the look of it looks a bit better. I like the coverage a little bit more. It's much cheaper. But the Flower Beauty one, I think I like a little bit more. All right, I wasn't planning on doing a base test today, but I happened to use a combination which I think looks ridiculously good. It looks really sort of blurred, a little bit dark, but very flawless, and I want to see how it wears. Okay, this is just a different angle. So I've got some highlighter on my nose. I'm wearing the same Super Shock cheek on my nose as a highlighter and on my eyes because I'm trying to use it up. But on my base, I'm wearing my Project Pan Kat Von D True Portrait foundation. This is a bit dry on me, so I did actually mix it with the Misha, what is this even called? BB Boomer. And it's pretty much like a pink iridescent sort of primer, but I mixed it together just to sort of make this less matte and also less sort of dry feeling, and I've done that multiple times. I think they work fairly well together. But what I set my base with, which is a bit different, is I use the Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten powder foundation. This is a baked powder foundation. I really like this powder foundation, but the problem is, and I've talked about it in a video on YouTube, as I've been using it, it's been sort of wearing down the light sections because it's a marbled powder, and like the darker sections are raised. So that's mainly what I pick up. So it's too dark for me as a foundation now. So I decided to use it as a light powder because this Misha primer sort of lightens the foundation a little bit. So I am a little bit darker than I normally am, but this, and I have actually used this to set my base before, like a really light sort of BB cream, and it makes things look so flawless. I thought it was sort of like a fluke, but I did it again today and I'm like, it's no fluke. Everything just looks smooth, and like even if I raise my eyebrows, like it just looks a lot smoother, a lot darker, granted. I didn't put any concealer on today. I want to see how it wears because, okay, it might not look like much on camera, but I have to say my skin looks so much more flawless than it normally does. So this as a setting powder, I want to see how well it wears. So I'm super keen to see how this wears today, and the good thing is that I've used this combo many times before with different powders, so I'll know that it's not this if it's wearing really well, because I've tried this and it wears fine, but it's not like, it's not amazing. All right, so this is 8.5 hours wear, and it's wearing quite well. There's a little bit that's wearing off, but it's not a problem. And the finish is still looking really smooth. So you can see fine lines here, but this area is looking very sort of smooth. So there's something about this foundation, this Laura Geller Mineral Powder Foundation, that just sort of sets your base really well. I think it actually looks a lot more flawless as a setting powder than it looks just on its own, because by now the powder foundation would have sort of completely dusted off. So I think it's a really nice finish. It is way too dark for me, so this shade is not great for me. If you want to do this and actually use it to set your base, go a shade or two down. And I think it's sort of not oxidizing throughout the day, but I don't know, it's quite noticeable. But at the 8.5 hour mark, this is quite nice. Hang on, I'll look in the mirror and I'll try to describe what I see. So besides besides a crazy color change, so you can tell I've taken it down my neck, but not there. It's wearing quite nicely. Again, there's a little bit of rubbing here, but it's sort of like if you tap it, it doesn't lift too much. It sort of just dusts it together. I think it works really nicely. I think that's a way that I'm going to use up this powder that's in the wrong shade. So I might use it in summer, granted, as a sort of like a light setting powder, but I need to take my makeup off now because we're going to a swimming class. So I'm not going to do more than the 8.5 hour wear, but I'm really liking how this Laura Geller Mineral Powder Foundation sets my foundation. I think it just elevates it to another level.